Hello everyone and welcome to my review of Insidious, The Last Key, released in 2018. So we are at the end of our Insidious run through. Insidious The Red Door comes out not this coming weekend, but not the weekend after. It's about a week and a half from now the movie will be out. So I'm really keen for that. We've got one more movie to pump through today and then The Red Door will be upon us. So I don't really have too much to say about this movie just because it's a very so-so movie. But let's still just get into it. So Insidious The Last Key is directed by Daniel Robitel and it stars Lynn Shay again and Angus Sampson and Lee Winnell again in their respective roles. This film is about a man claiming that his house is haunted and he calls up Lynn Shay's character, Elise Rayner, for help, and Elise is shocked to find out that the man lives in her childhood home. So yeah, I didn't really love this one too much, but it's still got its positives, so let's just get into them right now. So first of all, Lynn Shay just serves some serious cunt as Elise in this movie again. She's always so good in these films, and she's just such a big presence. The screen just lightens up whenever she's on it, and she just makes the whole thing worthwhile. Her character in this film is actually fleshed out quite well because you get to go back to her childhood and stuff like that when she's having the flashbacks of how she grew up and with her abusive father. Also, the story in this one I actually found rather interesting, more on a conceptual level than an actual than the actual way it was delivered. I'm not exactly sure how to phrase this, but basically the story introduces a lot of things where the living and the dead kind of get mixed up, and I found that to be really fascinating because I was kind of constantly thinking, wait, what exactly is going on? Is this dead or alive? Or what exactly is happening? This is a little bit confusing. I've never seen something like this before. And while I like the overall concept of that, and where that goes in relation to Elise's parents, especially her dad, it never really goes far enough to actually warrant, this movie, worth what? Oh, fuck. I don't know. I'm having trouble talking here.
When he talks, for fuck's sakes, I'm having trouble talking to you, but I am smart.
Basically, let me just sum this up properly. The spin on things, the living and the dead, I'm trying not to give away too much, but if you've seen it, you probably know what I'm talking about. The kind of mixture of the living and the dead. It's more of a what if concept, what if this was happening, rather than actually tying back into the story and having major consequences and stuff like that. It's just very, okay, that's a cool idea. You're just not doing enough with it. I think if they had have gone further in that direction, because I actually, when I first watched this, I was actually kind of shook by it. I was like, holy shit, this is what's going on now. Okay, this is kind of fucked up. But then it just kind of unfortunately devolves back into the franchise's tricks that have gone extremely stale by now. But yeah, no, there is definitely some kind of potential with the story in this one. And now moving on to the negatives of this film, as I just hinted at before, the overall tricks and cliches of this franchise, they've just gone stale. There's nothing really new here aside from that concept. The scares are all pretty weak. The actual creature design, with the keys for the fingers, I'm good. I don't care about that. It's just not a particularly interesting movie. Another problem that I have is with this new director, Adam Robitel, it's a competently made film, but it doesn't have the Insidious charm. It doesn't have that mixture of handheld and stable camera that just makes the films stand out that the first three films all had. And I just find that to be just a big problem for me because it ends up just meaning the movie kind of loses its charm in that way. It's very distinct. It's a very distinct style. That's why Insidious stands out from the crowd. This movie just kind of blends in. It's quite uninspired. Again, this is the worst offender of the lot, but the further is just kind of like another world that they can go to. And I've had this problem with 2 and 3, but Last Key in particular really, really suffers from that. It just, when they go a little further, there's no sense of dread or tension. It's just kind of a place that they pop in and out of at ease and at will and whatever. I just don't find it that interesting. Also, this is kind of like really weird, but the characters of Specs and Tucker in this movie are really fucking weird. Like, they've always been kind of like the quirky sidekicks, which I love. I think for the most part in the first couple of movies they're pulled off really well, but in this one they're just kind of gross. And it's just like there's like a scene when Tucker's like eating jelly and it's like dribbling down his. I'm like, whoa, no, that's nasty. Get it away from me. Stop it, please. Stop. So overall, Insidious: The Last Key is not a terrible movie, but it's not a particularly great movie. I would not really like to watch it again because there's not really that much there. But then again, if I was forced to, I'd be more than happy to do so. It's just an average movie. It's an extremely average movie with a really good lead performance from Lin Shaye, and all I can say is I hope that Insidious: The Red Door is better than this, because this is just mediocre. I'm gonna give Insidious: The Last Key 2 stars. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review of Insidious: The Last Key. Insidious: The Red Door is nearly upon us, and I'm really, really excited for that. Hopefully it's a really decent movie, but I'm gonna try and moderate my expectations, but whatever. It's one of my favorite film franchises. I've had a great time talking about all these movies over the past few weeks, and I'll see you all later. Bye.